And then way down at the bottom of the article, she is a Soroptimist from SIPJ. So So, Li Kim, share us some of your thoughts about your early start in your career.
I think my career, seriously, as a person, as a woman, your career actually begins at the time you're born. Because your first job is to be a good baby. Shit when you should shit. And then you actually grow into the role of being a good daughter. Then you get groomed to marry somebody to become a daughter-in-law. Then after that, you do what you thought you enjoyed and you become a mother. And then after that, you become a mother-in-law and etc., 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 a grandmother, etc. So, do I look at those as a job? I think so, because it really takes its toll, doesn't it? Okay. But if you are asking me a typical question of a career, then I would say, okay, when I started working, right? And that would be as a trainee in a glove factory. Latex examination gloves. I think some of you may be familiar. Basically what a doctor puts on so that you don't contaminate them and they don't contaminate you. So I did that. So I graduated Pepperdine University with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. I actually wanted to study law. Yes, Anusha, I should have studied law. But then my father told me, because he studied law, and he told me, you got to study and work really hard for 16 hours a day. Then I did my math. 24 minus 16 is 8. So when do I sleep? When do I play? And if I play for 8 hours, when do I sleep? It was such a dilemma, so I decided to do business. Not lazy, just smart. Yeah. Okay, so I did that. So I started in a glove factory at the age of 22. I thought I was going to get a cushy job because I was the boss's daughter. Actually, I got the worst job because I was the boss's daughter. Everyone was instructed not to give me any special treatment, so I was literally a trainee. I had to wear a badge that said trainee. I said, I got a name, My father, mother gave me a name, Then they said, no, your father's mother said your name is trainee. So I did everything from I was on the floor most of the time doing production, learning production. I mean, they never taught me anything to do with polymers and latex in business school. So I did all that. So I studied from scratch. I went for trainings, Rubber Research Institute of Malaysia. I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. Every day I smelled ammonia. There was not an opportunity to wear makeup because it was clean room environment, surgical gloves, blah, 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 blah. I dressed like all of them. I was in a uniform. I was in Johor Bahru. I said, Mom, I went to school in California to come back to the station in Johor. So every Friday I stand by at the causeway, 7 o'clock, boom, go in because free. Because if I use up my 10 days, my father asked me what happened, so everything was calculated. So yeah, you learn to be very smart. So that's how I started, and then from that,
What made you break away from that very strict environment that you started from?
We sold the business. We sold the glove industry. We sold our latex business, our glove business, to London Rubber Corporation, which was like the ultimate glove manufacturer, because they made this glove called Biogel. And somewhere along the line, my mother came up with because she was my boss, and she had this technology that looked like the Biogel for 1/3 the price. So I actually looked into the production process of that and actually produced that glove. So Biogel was not really happy with me, but at the same time, I did not infringe any patents or anything like that, so they couldn't sue me, so they came and bought us over. So they eliminated the competition by acquiring it, and I was more than happy to let it go.
Did you feel lost?
Did I feel lost? Lost is a constant state of mind for me because it gets me going to places to go find myself. You know what I mean? Did I feel lost? No, actually I was very relieved. Because I thought then now I can go and do something that allows me to wear my clothes, my jewelry, and my makeup. I wanted to be a woman, not a factory worker. So what if they have, after 18 months, they put a nice title on me, Director of Operations and Administration. Then that just means Chief Coolie, okay? For the right, they got to do at the same time, So yeah, I think my parents really polished me up real good to rough it out. Yeah.
And did you move on to a family?
Yes, I did. I got married. Can't remember when. 97. I got married in 1997 to a very, very good gentleman, and I still agree. Even though I have left him, we are divorced, I still agree that he was a very good man. Yeah. We were good before getting married and we're great after the divorce. I don't know what the hell happened in between.
So what were your challenges, when you were a single mom?
My challenges with single mom is raising 3 sons and realizing, damn, why isn't one of them a girl? And my son said, Mom, if it pleases you, we'll wear makeup, lashes, and a skirt just for a few hours if it pleases you, okay? I'm like, nah, it's alright.
So do you find your life a constant juggle, or are you able to say that you've put everything in its place now?
How many of you are with children or grandchildren even? I mean, yeah, children, grandchildren, and you work at the same time. Okay, and the only thing I think I didn't need to do was to actually please my mother-in-law, because I was married to a Swiss man, and my mother-in-law was in Switzerland. So I have to please her maybe for 4 weeks in a year during summer when we went back. But then again, we hung outside so much, so even if she were to scold me, I cannot hear and I don't understand.
So being a Mother Li Kim, do you think this concept of a nasty mother-in-law, is that a perpetual...
Apparently it is...
a myth?
No, actually this shit happens, Apparently this mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship really sucks. I was told. I think my mother had a tough time with my grandmother. And I think a lot of us would have said that, you had a tough time with your mother-in-law.
And how would you change things now that one day your 3 boys will get married?
Yeah, good question. Seriously, for me, relationships are important. It really does not matter whether it is a relationship with your domestic helper, whether it's a relationship with your boss, your employees, your subordinates, your husband, your ex-husband, your children, your mother-in-law. If you don't put in the compassion to understand what the other person is really trying to say, although I swear to God it sounds really wrong, just say, okay, they're not good with your words. I think people should be given the benefit of the doubt. But of course, if you really are dealing with somebody who is like constantly, consistently, despite being told, please don't do that, it's offensive, and they consistently do it, then you kind of know they have intrinsically an offensive character. And people like that, you have a choice. You either slap the living shit out of them, or you walk away and avoid it. Why? Life is too short to be engaged with people who annoy the crap out of you.
Toxic relationships.
Correct. Yeah, so there are a lot of toxic relationships that we seem to be addicted to. So ladies, seriously, being a woman apparently is a struggle, but actually it's a choice. Whether you want to struggle or you don't want to struggle. I think I've had enough relationships that bother me, that really intrinsically drive me up the wall, and I compact it so well because I have to fulfill this facade of being strong, that emotional stress takes its toll, and I have ailments that I don't even recognize. You know what I mean? So you go through that. So in answer to your question, how do I juggle and is everything in place? I'm sorry to say I don't have great news. Nothing is ever in place. All right? It will fall into place through what you call a lifetime. At a single moment, my theory is you can never have it in place, but you choose at that single moment what is important, and you make that choice to make that moment awesome.
All right.
And when you make that choice to have that awesome moment, something falls apart, something falls to the side, you will sacrifice another moment. The point is, don't forget that you sacrifice something for something else. So you better make sure what you're doing is worth it, and whatever you sacrifice, you go back to it. That's why I say, there are moments that I have made decisions that somebody could give me heat and a tremendous guilt trip. I've been through that. Oh, you didn't choose your children? Oh my God, you chose this over your children? You know, and I used to beat myself up so that to the point that whatever I chose, which was what I thought was good, became fruitless, or it didn't pan out because I was just so laden with guilt. So one day I told myself, screw that shit. This is my life. Okay, I am responsible for having 3 boys erupt out of my body. I'm also responsible for sleeping with their father and getting my eggs fertilized. Alright? So you know, and I'm even responsible, if you believe in karma, for being a girl. Okay, I could have been a boy with no eggs and just go around sowing my whatever that comes out of me as a man. Alright? But even if you believe in karma, I chose to come back and a female. Okay? So I have no one to blame. So I told myself, I'm not going to be made to feel guilty. Alright? I make my choices. Today, you know, I was choosing to be here, and thank God for the haze, my son's not having sports day. If my son was having sports day, I would have made that choice at 8:30, drive him to sports day and be there as present as I can, and then drive here and go back and pick him up. Okay? But there has been moments where I literally have to choose a job, right? And my kids would have to be attended to by my housekeeper or by my mom, my parents. But do I forget that moment? No, but I will make up for that over the weekend, or I would arrange a holiday so that all those moments that I missed with them, I catch up over the holidays. Which is why I say, single moment in time, there's no such thing as balance. The only thing you balance is yourself. How you look at it and how you feel about it. And forget the guilt. Okay? And over a lifetime of moments, you will eventually balance everything. Because there are moments when your career is more important for whatever your reasons, your personal satisfaction, financial reasons, etc. And at one point, your children will be important, but you can't stop them all from happening at the same time. Because life is not so perfect that you can say, I'll be married, I'll be good to my husband for 2 years, and then be good to your husband, you end up with kids, you know what I'm saying? So, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You have enough to handle. Why do you want to add on the stress of balance of life? Why don't you just let that go? Because that is a myth.
Yeah. Now that you're in a career and most paranormal, most girls are frightened to death of all these things. How did you find the strength and the bravery to do this?
Oh, okay. Apparently, I forgot. Apparently, I've always loved to act. You know, I would watch those Chinese dramas, you know, Hong Kong shows. I mean, I don't know. I think we're all about kind of the same age. Like those Chinese traditional ones like Tai Loi Fa and all that crap, right? So I'll put my hair up, or I'll get something to pretend to be hair, stick chopsticks in myself, in my head. I'll put on bed shoes and I'll pretend that I'm part of the crew. So my grandfather noticed I have this talent, so you know, before he died, which when I was 16, he died when I was 16, but when I was very young, he told me, go get yourself an education, okay? And come back and I will get you a TV station. And you can do whatever you want with it. I said, yeah. I said, well, if I'm going to have my own TV station, why do I need an education? And my grandfather, who would be in his 90s if he was still alive, even at that time told me, why, you think as a girl you don't need an education?
Here.
I think a lot of what I have become and who I am is because the men in my life are very supportive of women, you know, and that's kind of a good thing. My grandfather, my father as well. What was your question again? I'm following that song.
Let's open to the floor. Anyone has questions for Li Kim?
Are you a Ghostbuster as well?
Yes, I am. That career was very funny. About 2 years ago, 2011, I was actually having supper with my guru, His Eminence Tem Tuku Rinpoche, the founder of Kachara. And I had just joined Kachara about a year plus, and I had done an interview called Who's Who, where I interviewed many people who are members of Kachara and people who have explored Kachara and their spiritual journey. Why did you do this? Blah 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 blah. And Rinpoche was watching it and says, you know, you're really quite good in front of the camera, you know, you've got a face that the camera likes and etc. And you don't seem to really care what people think about you. And I told Rinpoche, you know, I am 30, that time 39, going on 40. I said, you know, I spent a lifetime as a youth and as a teenager and when I first started working to please the world, and I forgot who the hell I became. And I'm not going to do that anymore, no way, you know. And he goes, okay. And we were at that time talking about paranormal stories because as a high Tibetan monk, he does help some people get rid of spirits that's kind of hanging around in a less than friendly manner. And he was telling us stories, and Rinpoche loves Bigfoot. So I was laughing, you know, ha ha ha, you know, and then we were talking, and then there was those creepy moments, and he says, you know, why don't you just host a show? Why don't you stand in front of camera and do something with yourself? It wasn't funny anymore, like ha ha ha. And he says, what have you got to lose? And I was like, why is he bringing this up? I'm 39 years old, most things on my body is going south. Why do I have to stand up in front of the camera and compete with a 21-year-old Perky Duck? Right? Miss Perky, and for me, Perky, I need a magnet coming this way. You know what I'm saying? You know, I go to Korea, spend 100,000 laila and perk everything up. I had faith in what my guru said about me. Because sometimes we kind of forget what's our potential, our hidden substance and things like that. And it takes someone to kind of just tell it to you to your face. And you kind of go, oh, you just have a thing moment, you know. So I took it on and started filming in 2012. And then we aired on NTV7, October 2012, season 1. Now season 1 is running rerun. Wednesdays, NTV7, 9 p.m. And then season 2 starts April 16th. So that's how it all started, with a lot of faith in my guru who told me I can.
Right. So thank you so much, Li Kim. I think what Li Kim has shared with us, you know, is to remember that we must always realize that we have potential and we have a choice.
Yes.
And change whatever direction that we choose. Thank you.
Thank you.